Yo, yo, yo. Hopefully, you guys can all see me. Let me just make sure my viewer count is being represented correctly. I'm just going to go to properties and scroll down here. Refresh. There you go. It looked pretty broken. Now we got people. I love it. All right. Sorry I've been gone. I've been enjoying life. As usual, we'll be covering macro related events at the beginning, and then we'll cover Bitcoin, and then we'll cover Tesla, and then we'll cover a whole bunch of guys' stocks. Wow, it's been a great last week. I gotta say, I know markets. Again, I've been kind of taking a step back. I'm getting a little bit of a tan, going hiking, doing fun stuff, helping my nephew too. He's doing great, by the way. He's his court case, I think we're going to have a month or maybe two. We've got stuff that the prosecution needs to come up with that they don't seem to even have. We'll probably end up, he'll end up settling though before the court case, and he'll have to probably do some time in jail, but he might actually be on a work release, which I'm really excited about. He's 3/4 of the way done with his GED testing. He just got a job today as a cook, working at a hotel, and he's just doing a lot of things really well. He had anger management classes. He's got like one or two of those left, and he's finished. And then he's got some alcohol classes that he's taken to try and get better there and stay away from it. And he's just in a completely different mindset, being really active. We're hanging out daily, going on bike rides, doing hiking, just shooting the shit and enjoying life. But I'm really proud of him, and I think he's going to leave all this behind him and have a good life. So stoked about that. That's where I've been devoting some of my time. Also just enjoying life and trying to be healthy and be fit myself. So I apologize if I haven't been around as much, over the summer. I haven't been focusing a lot on charts. There's a lot of people that do a really good job. I've been reposting that stuff on X. If I see what they're doing and I like doing, and I post it, because there's no sense in me reinventing something that's done just, perfectly well by somebody else. So I'm trying to be efficient with my time. I'm trying to post good stuff still on X, while devoting a little less time to this, at least over the short term. But I'm excited today, guys and gals. We've got a lot of good stuff. Bitcoin up to 62,000 again after touching, just a hair under 60, I believe it was. Let's look at that real quick, actually. Let me just move over here, and then we'll look at markets too, because it's just been crazy. Now I'm loving this. I'm loving it. I cannot lie. This is a beautiful wick that we're seeing coming up here. This is on the weekly candle, but this is great. If this turns into like a bullish engulfing candle on the week, it is game over for the fucking bears, and I honestly think it is. Bitcoin up almost 3% on the day, over 62,000, heading into the end of the day really strong. Again, this is just so bullish. Somebody was pointing out too on the daily RSI, if we switch over to this time frame, we were the most oversold on the daily RSI that we have been since August of 2023. That was probably a pretty good sign that it was time to buy, right? When we had these lower lows, hit absolute in the 24 range. Could it go lower? Yes. But if we go back here, there is, let's see here. As far as oversold conditions, there is one other time that we've been this oversold going back to June of 2022. And that was right here in August. So when you see shit like this, this is a really good representation that it's time to buy. And I was going to say Mr. 100, who James loves to talk about. Not sure if this is Michael Dell that's investing in this, or if it's a nation state. It's one of them, but doesn't really matter. This Bitcoin is going up, people. The thing I've been trying to focus on too, I've been trying to get this lesson, and hopefully I get it across to people. I know a lot of people have left because I haven't been as frequent. That's cool, whatever. Doesn't really matter to me. But if there's anything that the people that are still here can learn, please to God, make it that you do due diligence. You find the things that are going to be worth money in the future. You have asymmetric bets in different directions. Some of them can fail. My PayPal, still not looking good. What's that at today? Let me pull it up here. PayPal, I think my January 2025s are horrific. They're down like 90% plus or something right now. So not good. And again, this is still kind of, I think we're consolidating and getting ready to break out. And maybe I make back all the money that I've lost on PayPal and then some. But again, I'm in the mental state where I'm okay with losing this completely and utterly. And you have to be there too. And right now, my downside risk is pretty limited because I don't think Bitcoin is very dangerous as far as downside risk. I want to show you guys something. I updated the portfolio on the 20th. Haven't made any trades since. Again, try not to overtrade, try not to overthink it. But if you look here, between Tesla, CleanSpark, MicroStrategy, shitcoins, Mara, Cypher, look at this. All this amount of my portfolio right now is pretty fucking safe. I'm going to say it's pretty fucking safe. We're after the halving. I think we're getting ready to launch in Bitcoin. I think Tesla's getting ready to launch. I've got over 2 years for this thing to be right. So whether or not these turn out shitty, I really don't fucking care. It's such a small amount of the pie. I have incurred the vast majority of my losses on this. It makes up like 13, 14% of my portfolio. I don't give a fuck if these things go down. I'll still make tons of money. So again, know what you own. Research what you own. Have conviction in what you own. Place a couple of asymmetric bets in different directions. If they don't pan out, they don't pan out. Realize that options are dangerous. I tried to give that disclaimer in my Option 101 video a while ago. These things can wreck you. And again, I lost a lot of money. I probably lost the bulk of what I made in Palantir last year. Maybe all of it, right? In just options and like things like PayPal, SoFi, ArcG so far. DLO, I think I've got some. So these have caused great losses, but I made a shit ton of money in other things, which is why I was up 700% last year. So you have to have calculated bets and be smart with your investments. And again, I'm not going to get them all right, but when you have asymmetric opportunities, and what I mean by that is the ability to get 5, 10, 20x in your returns on an investment, and you have a bunch of those going in different directions, 50% of them can fucking fail. 60% of them could fucking fail. You'd still make shit tons of money. So that's the way I invest. And again, so a lot of my losses are already incurred. I'm ready to rock and roll. And I'm ready for some good times, and we're getting ready to see them. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to jump into economic data and a little bit of politics. You know me, I'm down the middle, guys. I don't give a shit about politics. I used to care about this stuff when I was younger and was more passionate about it. I've been on the left and I've been on the right, and I think both of them can be complete fucking idiots at times. So I'm leaning, especially right now, more towards the right in regard to economics, right? Economics and freedom. I believe that those are two of the most important things that we can have in this world. I believe governments are bullshit. I used to believe in them a lot more and think that they served a greater purpose, but I don't believe that as much anymore. I want them to stay the fuck out of my business. I don't want them to tell me what I can and can't hear, what I can and can't spend my money. And so I'm getting a little more political in that regard, and it's causing me to make certain decisions that some people on the left might not like. But that's the way it is, man. I'm a human being. I'm not a lemming. I don't believe whatever fucking political party tells me. I know both of them have their problems. I know both of them have evil. Okay, so I'm not delusional. I try and weigh it for whatever I believe is going to be the best opportunity, like anything, like any investment, right? It's all about risk management. And I just wanted to point this out. Gergavan pointed this out earlier. Politically, in Toronto, in St. Paul, the heart of Toronto, one of the safest liberal seats in Canada. So this is strong liberal show out, right? Trudeau got fucking crushed and the Conservatives won. This is in a liberal sector. And I think that this thing is happening here soon. And it's important to know, again, I don't care about like politics in regard to investing outside of the fact of what are the policies are going to be and how will those affect the markets in this country, right? Audio's clipping. Oh, shit. I haven't done anything with it. Is it better now? Is it better now? Maybe I was hitting the mic. Let me know. Fuck. Cracking audio. 1 second. Can you hear me now? Is it any better? Let me know if it looks better. I'll check my gain too. Nothing? Ah, fuck. Fuck. I literally haven't changed anything. Son of a bitch. Let me try one thing. crackling. Let me try something. All right. Let me see. It's good now. No. Sounds good now. Maybe an audio cable is loose. Is it good or is it bad? Tell me, guys. Hook me up, please. Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, I think I could pull up the stream here. Let me see. Sounds good. Maybe an audio. It's good for now. Okay, good. If it gets shitty again, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going. So anyway, politics, I hate it. But in Canada, all right. No, wow. All right. No, wow. Now, okay, we're good. We're good. Sorry, guys. I'll try and pay attention to chat more. I'll get better at this eventually. So yeah, the whole point that I wanted to make here, and somebody said that they were from Canada a second ago. Intermittent, son of a bitch. All right. If it happens again, please say something in chat. All right. So the thing I wanted to point out, though, is that it looks like Trudeau is going to be screwed. He's going to get utterly crushed. And there's a reason for that. It's because of crazy policies, things that aren't good for humanity, I don't believe. Bad. It's not that bad. We got you. Bad. Clipping. Jesus Christ. All right. 1 second. Let me see what I can do. If anything, it's not that bad. All right, I'm going to pull this up so I can hear it too. 1 second. I will listen to it through. It's probably going to be weird, but I'll listen to it through my own headset. Second. I will listen to it through. Oh, yeah, that's trippy. It's probably going to be weird, but I'll listen to it through my own headset. Second. I will listen to it through. Oh, yeah, that's trippy. It's probably going to be weird, but I'll listen to it through my own headset. Second. All right, that's strange. I second this. Too far left that have been. Keep going on. We can have you with static. Well, that's just a bitch. Pisses me off. I don't like it that this isn't working correctly. I'll try and check it later. It's like everything is all right most of the time, but it starts clipping suddenly for a couple of seconds. Why the fuck would that be? I don't see anything. I'm not getting anything. Oh, well, fuck it. It's good 99% of the time. Son of a... Literally happens when you say Trudeau. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm going. All right, anyway. So my whole point here is that I think conservatives are going to win a lot. I think they're going to win a lot, and I think it's going to happen in multiple countries around the world. We're already seeing it, not just in Canada with Trudeau. We're seeing it in France. Macron is getting ready to get his ass handed to him. We saw it in Argentina, obviously with Javier Milei, a libertarian, winning easily. We're going to see it in the United States with Donald Trump, especially if he picks Vivek. And again, I didn't vote for this guy last time, so it's not like I'm a big Trump person. But I do think that these unconfirmed reports of Vivek running with him, I think Trump would be an idiot not to pick him as a VP. I'm here. You can start. Okay, good. Tom Nash is in the house, guys. Say hi to Tom, everybody. Tom, I'm sorry. I hear my audio is breaking up. I apologize. I haven't touched the stream in like a week, and evidently something happened in that amount of time. So whatever. But yeah, so I think politically, I think conservatives are going to crush it. And just so you know, Tom, we're covering the macro view right now. A little bit of politics. Try to stay out of it, for the most part. But I do have opinions. Audio is great. Sweet. All right. Hopefully it stays that way. Ryan Detrick commented. He said, today there will be 337 consecutive days in the market without a 2% drop for the S&P 500. Now, this is cool. He said, yes, this is one of the longest streaks ever, but we've seen some streaks go much longer. 694, 706, 728, 807, 746, 526, 949. I can tell you this. We got the money printer going burr. So I could see this going much further than it is. I could see it going 600 plus 700 days. Again, something like what we saw over here, right? So I just wanted to bring up, Ryan has some good posts in here, and I think he's 100% right. There is still room to run, and I think we're in the perfect position to do it. Tom fixed the audio just by showing up. He has a tendency of doing that. All right. Tom's a good guy. I like Tom a lot. All right, so Argentina logs first week with no inflation in food price in 30 fucking years. 30 years. 30 years. This man came into power And there's still problems there. They're still working on it. He's got a lot to do. He told them it was going to be more painful before it got better, and inflation is still high. But I just wanted to say it's pretty fucking remarkable that in less than a year, this man has already turned around a problem that best numbers in 30 years for food inflation. I think that's a pretty big deal. All right, keep going. And again, I think that's the kind of stuff we're going to see more prudent spending, smaller government. I believe that's going to be a big push here in the near future. Bitcoin adoption, technology adoption. We're going to cover some stuff about that I think is really helpful, that could really benefit the markets in the years to come. Also, I'm old enough to remember a time when everyone was saying that there was going to be a shortage of wheat and other food-related commodities because of war between Ukraine and Russia. And again, this is something where this is a smaller time frame. It's only since the beginning of the year. But I just wanted to point out that narratives, when they're wrong, can seem so right. They can sound so good. They can make so much sense. It's like, oh, yeah. Oh, there are high percentages of wheat that are going to be are controlled by this region, and all these things could happen. That's true. But you know what you miss when you think about stuff like that? You can't assume that it's just going to fail across the board, because people work hard to... I just hit the mic again. Sorry. Hopefully that didn't fuck it up. People work hard to fix problems, right? Some people do. Some don't. Some do, though. And so you have to factor in the willingness to fix the problem and how much money can be put behind it. And things like this all of a sudden aren't problems anymore, and they're not real. Hey, thank you, Johnny, for the tip. I appreciate it, sir. Rivian is up on news with VW. All right. I just hope the company doesn't fail. I'd be happy for that. I hope they don't pull a Fisker or soon a Lucid. I do like Rivians way more than any other EV maker, I've got to say. If there was a number two, it would be them. I just don't know that they're a good investment, in my opinion. All right, so jumping out of wheat. Want to jump over here, Seth Golden, my buddy from New Jersey. He's a smart man, owns a Cybertruck too. He said, Tom Lee says that the S&P could hit 15,000 by 2030. Technology will represent 40 to 50% of global stock market weighting, up from about 20% today. Unlike the dot-com bubble, there is a lack of overly hyped IPOs today. There are no IPOs today. So this is another thing that I was talking about just in the last stream last week with the new Texas stock market. It'll be up by like 2025. Into 2025, that should be up and running. But we're going to start seeing an IPO market again, guys. So 2024 going into 2025 could actually be a really strong time for markets. Remember, global liquidity cycles will start to drop again in 2026. If you follow, Michael Howell and a bunch of other people. He's from Cross Border Capital. I love the man. I'm going to actually probably have a special episode this weekend where I talk about some of his thoughts. I would love to interview that guy. He's so brilliant. I fear, though, that if I did that, you wouldn't understand like 90% of what he's talking about, because he's just so in the weeds. But he's brilliant. But yeah, so I believe technology is going to play a big part in the markets. I actually think, here's my prediction. I think the U.S. stock market, I told you last week that the percentage of allocation towards U.S. stocks versus the rest of the world is almost double what it was. I think that could get even more extreme in the future when we develop a bubble over the next year and a half, 2 years. I think that our market could represent maybe 50% of the global markets around the world, because we're the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry. And I believe technology will be something that helps foster that and bring it in. Companies like Tesla will be huge, and they will help immensely with what's going on in the world and GDP production and all this other stuff. So I definitely would encourage you to, keep track of that. FedEx up 15% after hours. That's probably good news. We want to see that companies that are doing shipping are making money. So I can't hate that. Disease Kodak. Sup, Jesse. Sup, brother. Love you, man. Tom, Winders in Netherlands as well. Oh, okay. I don't know much about the Netherlands. That's awesome. Made a video about this Tom Lee prediction. Did you? Yeah. You guys should check out Tom Nash. He's a good dude if you got time. Albert, great video. See, Albert saw it. He liked it. I agree with Tom Lee and Jesse on both points. And TFB, true story. Waited 15 minutes in line at FedEx yesterday. I guess shipping volumes are coming back. Yeah, you know what? I think that's going to be a thing. And I think I will still say China is falling apart and people aren't paying attention to it. But here's the thing. The money printer is going to go burr in China, guys. So It doesn't really fucking matter. You can preach their doom over and over again. And if you live there and you're in a, second, third, fourth tier city, you're probably feeling it already. But that doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't matter to markets. China can be heading into a Great Depression, and we could be breaking through, all-time highs easily in our stock market. That's just the way things work. Doesn't mean that the entire world won't get dragged down a little bit. Might happen, but I think the blessing of Bitcoin and technology can save us. Real quickly, another good one from Seth. He's got a lot of golden posts. Sorry, dad joke. No such thing as price versus sales. Savvy investors don't pay for sales. They pay for free cash flow produced by way of sales. Go to the root of the matter. Don't go to the root. Got to go to the root. And if you had this complaint last 2 years, look at the date. So all he's saying is that this is a measure that you actually want to look at. It's not price to sales. That's a big deal that looks totally overblown. You want to look at free cash flow. That's a metric that's actually helpful and useful. God, these fucking bookmarks moved on me. All right, here we go. We're back. Oh, and also right here. This is another great one from Seth, real fast. I think some of these resorted, whatever. I just want to point it out. So he said equal weight SPX, again, the S&P, versus market cap weighted S&P. He goes, we haven't seen B2B years of double-digit outperformance or underperformance since 2001 and 2002. Remember, this is after the dot-com bubble. Reasonable to anticipate some catch-up from RSP given low probability of double-digit. It's a bunch of word salad. But the whole point is, down here, if you look at 2020, if you look back, 2008, 2009, if you look at some of these ranges where we're down at the bottom, you can see for the ROC, you can see what happens next. And also, too, here, with the SPY, you can see with this metric here what's likely to come, and it's a bounce. All right, that's the one I did earlier. Again, we're seeing weakness in other currencies around the world, right? We're seeing weakness. Japan, we're seeing the yen on the verge of its lowest close against the US dollar in 34 years. It's now in danger of falling below 160. Let's see how it did real quick here. And I'll probably jump back to indices a little bit too, because I want to make sure I'm covering some of that. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I don't do this much. But here's what I want to show you. So going back right now to, what is this, 1990? So a few years ago, right? Over 30 years easily. We're getting ready. The yen is getting ready to lose even more value against the dollar. It could easily run up to this next range in the 176 range. So these guys hold a shit ton of our treasuries, right? So we don't want to see them sell those off. I would imagine Janet Yellen is having some conversations with Japan and their central bankers there to try and figure out an accommodative way to prevent their currency from weakening any more than it already is against the U.S. dollar. So you can't just assume that these conversations aren't happening. You have to assume that people are working on it. You have to get an understanding of what their competence level is. I'm not a huge fan of Janet Yellen, but I do think that she'll work hard to save her ass. And I have confidence in that. Want to jump topics again? Tom Lee says, okay, that's the other one. We already did that one. Sorry, when this thing redraws the screen, it jumps, and so I'll miss a bunch of stuff. I hate that. All right, it says every country needs this law. This is a kind of an Elon Musk talking point, but it's macroeconomic related, so whatever. It says, have 4 or more babies in Hungary. I think Hungary is actually an ally with Russia, but whatever. And you'll pay no income tax for life, Prime Minister says. I actually think this is a brilliant idea or something like it. I think if you can reduce the financial burden on people for having children, that's a good thing. You want people to have children. Rivian's up 35% in after hours. That's great. If I own that stock, I would sell some of it right now. But that's cool. I hope people make a bunch of money off of it. I still think it'll collapse though, or get bought out. All right, so but this is what the world needs, right? We need more people. If you don't know what a demographic cliff is, you need to do some research and realize what it is and why it's happening to every first world country in the world, pretty much right now. And the ones that have been successful longer, like they ramped up earlier, they're usually the ones that are getting the worst of it. And so people get smart, they get educated, they have a bunch of money. They're like, maybe I'll wait on having kids. And then they never have them. If you've seen Idiocracy, That one's pretty much a documentary nowadays talking about it. But we want people to have more kids. It's very important. Also, I thought Doge Designer put this up and I just had to talk about it. It says, it's basically talking about how we rose up against the British in 1775 because of a 2% tax. That's the Boston Tea Party. So we revolted and basically went against our rulers because of a 2% increase in tax. And now we're looking at like 40% taxes. And people are like, fuck, who cares? Who even knows? It's just funny. It's telling of where our society is right now. All right, this is one I did here. It says, this is telling us that we've already reached the bottom of 2008 and 2000 and 2008 financial collapses. And if you look at the charts, you'll see that the next step is up. So this just shows the Chicago PMI barometer. And again, if we go back, we're near some of the lowest levels we've ever been. We've got tons of money on the sidelines. We've got government money printing going burr. Whether it's like right now it's happening because the Treasury issuance is just a lot shorter time frame. So they're not incurring a lot of additional debt load with interest rates because they're dragging it out, with, 5, 10, 20-year bonds. Instead, they're doing the short-term Treasury issuance to where they can get all the money they need, but then not commit to paying it for a long period of time, which is kind of a smart thing to do. It's something that I would probably do right before I started lowering rates. Just to where, again, you don't want to lock in a bunch of long-term high interest debt. And that's what the bond market is, right? That's what the government does. They're basically saying, we'll pay you a certain interest rate for a certain period of time if you give us money. And so again, all this stuff is playing out right. And the Chicago Business Barometer is telling us we're near a bottom with everything else going on. Maybe it's true. Also, new car prices fall back to a 50-year trend. This is a fall of negative 16%, a huge decline, and would bring up prices back to pre-pandemic levels. This already is happening with used car prices. We expect used car. So all this is true. And this is why Tesla is being so proactive at lowering costs as hard as they can, and then lowering prices and reducing margins so that they can get output, so that they can sell people a monthly subscription for FSD or a premium connectivity or any other number of things, get you to buy all the stupid fucking add-ons for your truck that I bought that you don't really need, but you're willing to pay a premium just so you can look a little different than the other guy with a Cybertruck. These guys are going to make shit tons of money. August 8th with Autonomy Day is going to reflect that. It's coming, so get ready for it. Again, new cars, substantial fall ahead. So what they're saying is we're up here, but this could be a huge drop. I agree with that. Tesla's already done it. The other car manufacturers aren't doing it. They're not selling shit, and they will start doing it because used cars are just a glut right now. They're everywhere. And you could see this in the used car market. You could see it going back to the trend line. And I agree with this assessment 100%. I don't know where Carl got it from. Carl doesn't seem like the brightest person in the world on CNBC, but he's right about that, I believe. I don't know why I have this one here. It says Xi Jinping's shift of China towards Russia will not turn out to be one of the big blunders. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, it will turn out to be one of the bigger blunders of modern history. Russia's economy is tiny compared to the combined might of Western consumers. You can already see China's export growth to Russia fall after brief and small bump. So all this is saying is that China is losing out immensely by not leaning closer towards the West and instead, siding with Russia. But they had to do that, right? They were going to invade Taiwan. They just wanted to see Russia quickly invade Ukraine and in 3 days take it over. And it didn't work out that way. And so China's in a really tough spot right now. They're still trying to be tough. They're still trying to lean on all their neighbors, but they need us desperately. I've been saying this for years. 2/3 of China's exports, which is really the only thing they have going for them at all, is towards Western or Western-friendly countries, democratic countries. So they need us desperately to buy their goods. And so FDX is up 16%. Boy, everything's just going up. This is beautiful. Anyway, so China fucked up. They fucked up leaning towards Russia. And Russia, honestly, I think if Trump comes to power, I think he buddies up with Putin again to end the war in Ukraine, which I think needs to happen. And they'll have to figure out lines and they'll have to end it. It won't be great because I think that, Ukraine will end up with less land than they had before. And I don't think that's a good thing. But I do think that Putin is utterly exhausted. He has failed miserably at this war. And it's cost his people a ton. And anything he can do to rebuild the relationship with the West, he should be doing. And I think our focus needs to shift to China anyways. Anyway, my soapbox. Done with that. Moving on. Seth again, another great one. The consumer and retailer in such rough shape, so stressed that the retail sector ETF is just 2% off of an all-time high set earlier this year and has been rising all June, period. So again, all he's saying is, guys, things don't look that bad for retail-related investments right now. And if it's not bad for retail-related investments, maybe it's okay for our economy, despite the fact that the bottom one-third are getting crushed, which they are. Fact, another one from Seth. With Thursdays, if you don't follow Seth, please do it, at SethCL. With Thursday's pullback, the S&P came the best advanced decline line and momentum performance of the month. My apologies, as I'm sure these positive bullish breadth momentum divergencies litter FinTwit sarcasm. So almost everything Seth posts is sarcasm. I tend to lean that way myself. So I love what he has to say. But again, we're looking strong, guys. These are more metrics that are telling us we're looking strong. Carl Cantanilla. Whoa, he got 2. He never gets any. This is amazing. Williams, U.S. economy and labor market are strong. Williams, this is a Fed person. Inflation is coming back to Fed's 2% target. Expect inflation to keep coming down this year. I actually agree with all this. I don't, except for the 2%. It's going to be like 3, whatever. Bar chart. Foreign investors have sold Japanese stocks for 4 consecutive weeks, the longest selling streak since September. People are leaving other countries for investing in the United States where they should be. And there's reasons, especially if Trump wins. Again, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. They both piss me off most of the time. But Trump will do much better for the economy based upon the principles that he exhibits. We need Jesse, X James, Tom Nash, Tom Lee. That would be sweet. Tom, make that shit happen. No, putting this on you. All right, one of you Toms. All right, let me see here. The Federal Reserve is nothing federal and has no reserves. This is great. I'm just going to let him say this. This is the president of El Salvador. He's not wearing a baseball cap this time, but he's a cool guy, and listen to what he has to say.
The Federal Reserve is nothing federal and has no reserves, right? So they do print more money, and they rob you from your wealth and from your savings, and that's immoral. But it's not only immoral, but it also destroys some basic economic principles, like, for example, saving or your pension. From these financial publications, they will print lies. But you know, there's something special about lies, is that they don't last for long. They don't last long.
Dude, I swear to God, it makes me want to dye my beard. I love this guy so much. He's brilliant. He's done a lot for his country in a short period of time. His people feel safe. Countries you have to feel safe. If you don't feel safe, if people are looting your stores and then they close and you can't buy food there, if there's violence, if people are taking over, famous bridges that represent our country for half an hour and not having anybody fucking do anything about it. If you don't have, I'm going off on a tangent that has nothing to do with his comments for the most part, but if you don't have like safety, security, which this man created for his country, you don't even have a foundation to build off of. People have to feel safe first and foremost, and then you help give them opportunity. And that's the only thing that government should be doing, is helping facilitate that in whatever limited ways it can, non-interfering ways that it can. And this is a great representation of that. And the fact that Javier Milei is looking to do the same thing that this man's looking at doing is going to be great for his country. And I love this. I love that we have multiple countries all across the northern, central, and South American continent that are embracing capitalism and democracy and like freedom at a time when we desperately need it, when technology is advancing to a point where it will either control us in the future or it will set us free. And I know which option I want. And so I love, though, that the northern and southern hemisphere of these continents are going in the right direction in the future. And I don't understand how you can't be fucking bullish right now with that happening alone, not to mention everything else. All right, Jake was just talking about how the other day, this is on the 18th, how we were in a fear zone. It's amazing how how poorly from a fear and greed standpoint we've been performing for such a long time. Mega cap tech stocks hit their most overbought level in more than 6 years last week. That's actually shocking and cool. And I think it can go a lot higher. And I love you, bar chart. You guys were great because they posted me a lot in the beginning. But if you guys could go longer fucking dates on your chart, I know it makes the headline to say the 6 years, and I love you guys, but put it back as far as you can fucking go so we can see the actual data, or at least make 2 images, one for the 6 years, one for a bigger picture. That'd be great. I think it's better to represent things or allow people to be able to see them and then do a deeper dive and be like, oh, but you know what? It happened like 10 times before that. Again, I just think it's good to tell people the story, maybe focus on that one section to highlight it, and then let them see the big picture. It's a better way to look at data. All right, off my soapbox again. Michael, Japanese bankruptcies. Lol, imagine what would happen if Japan had market-based interest rates. So bankruptcies in Japan have increased a lot since 2020. You can see this curve going up. They're very representative of what's happening in China. And I don't know how much of that is like a side effect of what's happening in China. I'd say a decent amount of it is. And their economy has just been weak for a long time. They've had lost decades for a reason. They're just getting inflation now when all this craziness was happening. But this is another sign. This is happening in the U.S. too, though, arguably really happening. Well, I mean, China doesn't really have a bankruptcy system, which is a fucking another nightmare for those people. But these are going to tip up. I'd say the weakest amongst a lot of civilizations right now, whether it be Japan, whether it be the United States, whether it be China, whatever. The lower third are getting fucked. If you guys are in the lower third, you're getting fucked. The government is fucking you, just like every other fucking government is fucking you. Outside of places like Argentina and El Salvador and a handful of others that are actually trying to do something better. So if you're getting fucked, maybe it's important to pay attention to how you're getting fucked, so that you can fix it, right? Like buy some Bitcoin, buy really good companies, own some real estate, diversify your income so that you're not getting screwed, and instead you're able to enrich yourself from the destruction that these governments reap upon their people. You want to be one of the people finding the solution for this. You don't want to be suffering from it. Anyway, my 2 cents. We haven't even gotten past the economy yet, guys. I'm sorry. In advance, I'm sorry. You know what? It's a long video. You could just like watch it in parts, maybe. All right, Ryan again. He said the S&P 500 is up 8.9% since they told you to sell in May. Sell in May and go away. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world, that can really fuck you. So don't always just believe a catchy phrase and operate your investment thesis based on it. Time in the market is better than timing the market. So you got to remember these things. All right. It says, as we noted in late April this year, you wanted to buy in May and stay. Very true. Good article too. Bearish engulfing pattern for semiconductors. I could see us treading sideways to down. And when you got NVIDIA at $3 trillion, if that money's flowing out into other parts of the market, which it looks like we're seeing again, strong market breadth and other signals of strength in other sectors, I think that only gets better. Seth Golden, this is not a thing. I kid you not. Folks on Fin Twitter all excited about the people who own stocks. It's like getting excited about the people who have legs walking. It says, wow, U.S. household stock allocation has reached a record all-time high. I think this Kevin Jordan was actually worried that this is a signal of a top, and it doesn't need to mean that at all. Investing has been a large part of people's investment portfolio for a while. If you go back here, even back to 2020, I mean, look at this. Look at the levels. You could have said we were looking toppy back here too. It's that there's been a lot of money printing, and it's made a lot of people rich, and those people are investing in stocks because they're diversifying their income, right? They're looking towards other things to make them rich. And so it's important to think of things in not just the way they're framed by like Kevin Jordan, but the way Seth looks at them. Think about the opposite too, and figure out which one is probably more true. This is a great video talking about the potential impact of Tesla. Oh, okay, this is my last one. We're done. This is where I was talking about Texas and their new stock market and all that stuff. So we finished up there. Real quickly, I'm just going to talk to some of the stuff in economic data for Tuesday. Not too much to say. Fed or Chicago Fed National Activity Index was 0.18. It was forecast to be negative. Pretty much flat to kind of good, right? Red Book year over year for retail, it was 5.3%. It was 5.9 before. If we look here real quickly at the graph, and again, when in doubt, zoom out. It doesn't look bad at all. It looks kind of strong. Stronger than it's been since 2022. It looks like we've established a base, and if anything, we're creeping higher and want to break out, just from a technical standpoint. Case-Shiller home price index year over year actually has a drop. So we have April being 7.2, consensus was 6.9 and 6.8, so it was an outperformance even though it did drop. So that's still showing strength in housing, probably because the market's just frozen. And consumer confidence was set for a 99 as forecast, 100 for consensus. We got 100.4, so it's a little bit better than expected. The sky is not falling from the economic data that we're seeing. Now, unless you're in manufacturing, it still sucks. The Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index for June said negative 10. Forecast and consensus were 3 and 2. So if we look here, we can see some negativity brewing through this section, right? It's low for a while. But if you look at manufacturing, has that really been a strong point for America? Let's look at 2000 to 2004. Looks worse than what we had over here, right? Then we did good for a few years. Then what happened in 2008? Fell off a cliff, came back, started trending down again. We have moments where we break out and then we go down. I'd say if anything, it looks like maybe we're getting ready to have one of those trends up. This doesn't look totally irregular with the data, guys. I'm not hating it. And again, the services looks very similar to this. I don't think there's too much else to talk about in this data. The money supply expanded. Who knew that was possible? Let's just look here. Let's look at the 5-year. So again, you can see where money supply was kind of rough for 2023, at least part of it. It's starting to turn back up again. This is M2 that we're talking about, but that's a good thing. We want to see that happen. All right, real quickly, let me look at indices too. I feel like I'm just jumping through everything. Let me go to the heat map. You can see tech did really well today. You can see some finance stuff did not. Looking a little rough through here. Nothing too pretty there. Let's look at the crypto markets. Now those, on the other hand, boy, they had a good day. Look at Solana up almost 5%. I know James from Invest Answers is probably loving this. Ethereum up almost 2%. Bitcoin, the king of crypto, at 2.88% because there is nobody quite like Bitcoin. Remember that. The S&P. I don't know. This kind of looks like it was a bull flag, like it was setting up for a bull flag. Now, could we grind here? Maybe. But I love the sheer amount of volume that we're seeing here at this level. It's definitely a huge spike. If we go back a little bit further here, it doesn't represent as much when we go all the way back, into 2021, right? But if we kind of get a little closer here to, the last couple of years, look at that volume right there, guys. That's really pretty. That's a nice base getting established that I think is just going to send us higher in the future. NASDAQ. Well, the NASDAQ makes the S&P look fucking lame. Look at this gap here. We didn't even go back to retest it. And we've got this massive volume spike right here again. Again, it looks like a base to me. And maybe it still trends down for a week or sideways or something. Still looks like a base to me. It looks like we're establishing a base, and I love that. I feel like that same thing is happening here with the Russell. It's underperforming. It still hasn't reached that moment that Tom Lee and me and I think even maybe Tom Nash and a few others think is coming. That's small caps breaking out. Like my buddy Seth Golden, he feels the same way. I think we're establishing that. We're under the .286 or .236, but I think we're going to establish a base here, and we're going to start breaking out, and then we'll start pushing up over here where you see the 2100 range, 2200 range, and if we grind up against that, man, it's fucking over. It's up here to 2300, and I think ultimately, 2600 doesn't seem crazy soon, and I agree with Tom's target. I think we hit at least the .618. Maybe overshoot if we start getting too exuberant on the small caps. And so I could see this is like a 44% increase in small caps. I think that could happen in the next year. So I'm still very bullish personally myself. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about real quickly. Yeah, you know what? I will talk maybe about gold. Gold, people saying 3,000. I don't really care. What are we at again? 21%. Oh, yeah, I don't fucking care. It's gold. It's boring as shit. Oil. And why is it boring as shit? Because it's down 13% gains that you would have made going back, or I'm sorry, 20% gains over a period of 13 years. That's pathetic to me. I think that's pathetic. So oil is dropping. This honestly looks like a bear flag. If I was drawing this, I would draw it like this. It's actually like a falling broadening or a rising broadening wedge, I should say. Little bear flaggy. It depends on how you want to draw it. But, I mean, it's kind of like that, right? And something like this is likely to grind a little bit and then break down. So I could see us going back into the 70s here soon and maybe a lot further. We'll see. Again, this is all about demand, and there's a lot of speculation in oil right now, and I don't think the demand is as good as people think it is. So people that are all excited about oil prices going higher, I don't know if they're going to feel that way soon. I should look at the dollar here too, but first, let's look at the MOVE index. Here's what I like. So this is the volatility index for bonds, right? This is where it lets us know if bonds are getting crazy. It looked a little weird. It looked like maybe bonds or the bond volatility could be picking up, but now it honestly looks like maybe it might break down here. It's hard to see on this time frame. If I go back to the daily view, you can get a little better image here. Maybe it's the 3-day. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, right here. So you can see if I draw a line like this, let me widen it. If I draw a line like this, right? And I'll try and do more of this in the future. I don't feel like I do a good job of this. So outside of this, this is a tweezer bottom. It's actually a pretty bullish sign. And again, this could go either way right now. But if we start to see a breakdown and we can test down to like the 91s down here, then this is going to start looking more like a descending triangle and like something that wants to break lower. And this is going back, to May, it looks like at least. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to keep an eye on it for sure. All right, I'm going to check the 2-year real quick on the bond market to see how it's performing. It does not look great to me. I don't like the fact that we're still below the 50 on the weekly moving average. To me, this looks like something that has tried to go up, couldn't, and now is going to roll down to the 100 moving average of like 4.5%. So I think the rates that are being paid out on the 2-year are going to drop. I think that the Treasury is going to make sure of it with buybacks. That's what they do, right? All right. I think I got a lot of that shit done. Let's move on to Bitcoin real quick. I'm going to try and be fast here. Need to have some of my coffee too. All right. I'm going to try and read. If my audio cuts out or anything, again, please let me know. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Morgan Stanley expected to approve Bitcoin ETFs on their platform for all clients by the end of August. Remember all these platforms that weren't going to include ETFs? Or maybe you thought every platform had the Bitcoin ETFs right now. There are a lot of large ones that don't. Morgan Stanley's pretty big. And I don't know what percentage they make up of the market, in the US, but it's a decent one. And they'll have Bitcoin ETFs here soon. So isn't that great? All these guys realize that they have to do it. Some of them might be laggards. Some of them were vocal and said they wouldn't do it. They're all changing their minds. This market is going nowhere. I don't even know what we're at. I'd have to look. Maybe I'm wrong. I read something and saw a stat. I think I posted about it. Maybe it's in here. That we're like Bitcoin is the 14th largest currency in the world right now. That's kind of crazy. I actually think it could get close to the top 5 by the end of the cycle in the next year plus. Year to year and a half. So think about that. Bitcoin being the 5th biggest currency in the world in that time frame. It's kind of insane to think of. Adoption is real. James said, I knew 100 would not satisfy Mr. 100's thirst. He will come back for another score. And he did. I think it's in here somewhere. He just keeps buying the dip, and will continue to. All right, I wanted to play this real quick.
Right now.
This is Julian Assange, somebody who had the government coming after him forever.
The most interesting thing happening.
Worrying about prison and never seeing the light of day again because of not espionage, but exposing state secrets and all this kind of shit, right? Basically being a traitor. And he's free now. He's been let go. He made a deal. So I think that's cool because he's brilliant. And if you don't know who he is, don't know the way he talks and feels about things, he's worth some time to listen to. This is 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Here you go.
Is Bitcoin. It's probably the most interesting intellectual development on the internet in the last 5 years. a lot of people have heard about Bitcoin, but not
This is in 2014.
really understand it. So you think, okay, it's some online currency. What's the big deal? There's, you can have a PayPal account. That's kind of like an online currency, or even your Visa card. Well, actually, all the processing occurs online. Isn't that really like an online currency? Or you can buy gold. That's kind of like an online currency. But Bitcoin is different because it is a currency that cryptographically backed, multi-jurisdictional, which means that it's very hard for any one power group in any particular jurisdiction to start turning it into a rent-seeking apparatus. The underlying technology of Bitcoin is cryptography on the one hand, and the ability for cryptography to create situations that can defend itself or the people who use it against even the full might of a superpower. A full might of a superpower doesn't help you smash a maths problem. A maths problem is a maths problem, and it's something that is connected to the existence of intelligence in the universe or basic physics.
All right, I'm not going to go through this whole video. I just wanted you guys to get a feel for it. The moral of this story is you should have listened to this motherfucker 10 years ago and bought Bitcoin. And you probably just heard he was a trader and didn't even take a minute to hear his story. I know I didn't. But yeah, he could have made you rich. Isn't that funny? You never know. It's always good to spend a minute just listening to somebody and trying to figure out the quality of who they are. All right, Bitcoin Magazine. These guys are like hit or miss sometimes, but this is interesting. So it says Japanese, this is 9 hours ago, Japanese public company Metaplanet establishes a wholly owned subsidiary to amplify their Bitcoin strategy. Now, I could see more companies doing this. They've already been buying Bitcoin. Now they've got, a subsidiary that's probably going to be like a holding company maybe for it. Or maybe I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're working it out. But you're going to see more companies doing this in the future. You're going to see more companies looking to have a Bitcoin strategy because of people like Saylor. And then now Michael Dell, we'll be talking about him a little bit. And then companies like Metaplanet that are basically like, holy shit, what MicroStrategy is doing is brilliant. We should do the same thing. And there's going to be more. All right, so this is cool. Here's what I wanted to show you here. This is internet adoption, okay? This is where it grew and how high it went. Look at where we are in Bitcoin right now. This is Bitcoin as a comparison. And just look at the level of adoption we have around the world right now. It is so low. Hopefully the mic didn't get fucked up by adjusting that, but it is so low. And you need to understand where we are, guys. Gotta understand. If you don't understand what Bitcoin is, fucking learn. Ask me questions. Tell me whatever I need to give you guys. I try to put good videos and people that are brilliant in front of you. I try and explain things as good as I can. But ask, because you need to understand this investment. If you are not in this, I fucking pity you and the money that you could make or at least preserve in the new world in the years ahead. You got to own this. It's just, you got to. I also,
Bitcoin.
There is a person, you got to listen. This guy's nerdy as fuck. His name's Andres Antonopoulos, and he is brilliant. He's the person who got me into Bitcoin. He's the first person I really connected with and understood. And he's a little more complicated in the way he talks, but he has a lot to add. So I just wanted to play a little bit of this here for you too, and have you listen to it. And again, I posted these today. You could find them online.
Bitcoin is internet money. It's a system of money that exists on the internet, was created on the internet, and it allows you to send and receive value the same way you can send and receive an email anywhere in the world, instantaneously, without intermediaries. And that's kind of what you see at first glance. Behind that, it's a whole platform. It is, as the title of the book says, the Internet of Money. It is a set of protocols that allow...
That's his book, by the way, The Internet of Money. Or Bitcoin, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's great.
You to basically exchange value with other people. But you can do a lot more with it than just that. Most people will use it as a currency. It's basically money that you can transmit from your smartphone to somebody else's smartphone directly, just like cash, but electronic. And the thing about it that's unique is that it's not owned by any corporation, any bank, or any government, just like the web isn't owned by anyone, or email isn't owned by anyone. And there's lots of companies that can send and receive email. There's lots of companies that can set up websites. There's a lot of companies that can set up applications that use Bitcoin. It's really quite interesting what happens when you create a form of money that is truly global. We really don't have
global money. It's a big deal. Now, I've just given you two people. I've given you Julian Assange and I've given you Andres Antonopoulos. Don't tell me later, gosh, I just don't get Bitcoin. You got to understand some of the key principles of what makes it great. And the fact that it's immutable, it can't be altered. It never has been. The ledger is designed in a way where miners secure the network, miners make money from doing it right, and then the amount of hash rate you would need to you'd have to have over 51%. It's called a 51% attack to be able to attack the Bitcoin network. So you'd have to get the majority of investors to try and destroy the thing that makes them money. And they're all over the world now. They're corporations, they're governments, they're everywhere, right? So you'd have to get them to destroy their own self-interest. And even in doing so, if you could get the majority of them to do that, the coins would fork into two different directions. And quickly people would realize, oh, this was an attack, we should fix it. And it would self-heal and it would fix itself based upon the incentives that exist for Bitcoin. And you have to realize that the math and the design behind Bitcoin, between the halving event, basically the continuous network growth, the what is it used for? What is it used for? Store of value at one of the times in history that's probably people are desperately looking for stores of values that they haven't looked for in hundreds of years. So and it does this, and then no government can control it, and it's transferable across the world, unlike gold. You gotta own Bitcoin. You don't have to. I mean, I'm some random ass fucking person on the internet. Don't do it if you don't want to. But later on, I will tell you, I told you so many fucking times. It'll be annoying. All right, my buddy XAI said, did the miners order some HIMS today? HIMS is a stock that, it's got all kinds of stuff anyway. And then my buddy Alejandro that does visualstocks.com, he said, he asked him, he said, you're the expert. Comments? And all he's saying is, like, especially AI related stocks. Mike Alfred was on this a long time ago. I was not sold on it. I don't still think I'm sold on it. But over the short term, AI related stocks are benefiting greatly. So things like Hut, companies like Iron, all these Wolf, all these companies that have like some AI narrative behind them, everybody's flocking into, and they're performing first. I wouldn't be running into them right now, especially like when Iron's up 300+% in a short period of time, 6 weeks plus, almost 7. I wouldn't be running towards them. I'm very happy with CleanSpark, owning some MicroStrategy that's up almost 7%, owning some Cypher, and owning Mara. I'm happy with those selections. I still think that in the end, they're going to be some of the better performing ones, and that the AI might underperform maybe a year from now, and you can hold that against me if I'm wrong. But I make calls, right? I'm not a little bitch. I'm going to tell you my opinion. Willie Woo. He said the financial world now believes Bitcoin is a fast emerging asset class. Well, asset classes, I think he means good. He's based out of Hong Kong. There's some translation stuff somehow. Even though he speaks English pretty good. Good asset classes are valued in units of tens of trillions of dollars. Basically, like strong asset classes are trillions of dollars. He goes, what this means is the world actually believes the price will 10x Bitcoin. From here, it will rival the US dollar in size and become a reserve asset. I don't know if it'll rival the US dollar. Not this cycle, but it'll be like in the top 5, maybe 4 of the world. And that's a pretty big deal. Forbes exclusive, Louisiana passes bill to defend Bitcoin rights and ban CBDCs. We're seeing a lot of conservative states, especially that vote Republican, doing this. And I can see liberal states doing it as well. They've got a lot of pain right now. And there's going to be backlash there, just like the stuff we saw with Trudeau that I was pointing out with Canada and very conservative liberal provinces that they have that have voted conservative for the first time in a very fucking long time. You're going to see a lot of that. All right, Bitcoin Magazine, U.S. Congressman Matt Gaetz, I don't even know if I like this guy at all, introduces bill to allow federal income tax to be paid with Bitcoin. I love that, though. I do approve of that. And then Metaplanet issues $1 billion, 0.5% bonds, proceeds to fund additional purchases of Bitcoin. So again, they're doing the buying. They're They're incorporating with a subsidiary. They're doing all these things probably from a tax perspective and risk management perspective to be able to manage their Bitcoin reserves. And I think a lot more people are going to be doing that in the future. I didn't get confirmation on this, and I think that's a Hong Kong flag, but it says Singapore's largest bank, DBS, says Bitcoin is a bit like digital gold. You might want to allocate a little bit. I couldn't find the actual source for this from Bitcoin Magazine, and then I saw a bunch of other posts, but I think those were pointing towards Bitcoin Magazine, so I don't even know if this is real. Let's just see in here. Next, they'll be telling us water is wet, but hey, yeah, that's true, given the market conditions. So I don't see anybody refuting what's said. But, take it for what it's worth. It could be a little off. I like it when companies actually source their information. I think that's better. And this was on June 23rd. And so my boy Vivek, you might want to follow him if you want kind of motivation again. When everything's dark, follow Seth, follow Vivek. There's a few others that are really great at kind of keeping you on the path. If I'm not available, these guys will point you in the right direction. And they seem to think the same way I do 90% of the time. And I love that. Vivek said, don't follow the majority, follow the right way. And all he was saying in here is, guys, we're oversold in the RSI. We're at levels that are depressed for Bitcoin. Everybody's running away from it. And that's all at a time where, as Bitcoin Munger points out here, we've wiped out a bunch of people that are long a bunch of times, right? We just keep wiping them out until they stop going long with leverage. And when the fucking idiots stop doing that, it's going to go up. So all you got to do is monitor that kind of stuff. And coinarc.com is actually a great site for that. So you should check it out. They do a really good job representing it. I'll try and post a URL and explain it a little bit so you guys know how to use it. Bitcoin therapist, Bitcoin hodlers, after watching 10% of our net worth evaporate into thin air. Again, we're buying more. These are the guys, Bitcoin therapist, exactly like it sounds. If you want somebody that's 100% pro Bitcoin, his account has grown very large in a short period of time. He's the guy. And I think every once in a while you need that, especially if you're paying too much attention to markets. It can be overwhelming to receive constant negativity unless you're a very strong person. It's one of the reasons I've been focusing on my nephew and focusing on my health and not so much I'm looking at charts all day. Is because you have to be strong and you need people like this. You need this therapist to be able to tell you that everything's going to be okay. And when you hear that from enough smart people, you realize it's true. Bitcoin Archive, just in, Coinbase CEO says Bitcoin is an important check on inflation and deficit spending. Owning Bitcoin is pro-America. I actually feel that exact same way. And I love that Michael Dell, thanks again to my buddy XAI, Michael Dell, this man is very rich. I'll show you some of that in a second here. He's much richer than Michael Saylor. I think somebody's calling my wife. This phone's really annoying the shit out of me. Anyway, Dell said, this is a great account to follow. Me Cookie Monster, very entertaining. Again, he's been talking about crypto and I should just say that, Bitcoin a lot, specifically Bitcoin, and it's a big deal. This is James is quoting Vivek. He just says, while you were scared, he's quoting him saying, the beast stacked 190,000 Bitcoin in less than 30 days. We're not just back, we're roaring. Who's ready for the next leg up? Screw the ETF, big players. Here, I'm going to shut this door. This thing's going to drive me nuts. Okay. So now I don't have to hear the ringing. It says, who's ready for the next leg up? And this is just showing 4 wallet addresses, guys. So 190,000 Bitcoin consumed between 4 addresses. I think these are ETF ones, whatever. But it's interesting. And so some of these are probably personal holders. But again, this is a lot. This is a lot of money. Caleb said, we have a clear resistance trend line for Bitcoin. So my natural instinct is to duplicate that trend line and tether it to the low wick from the all-time high, specifically the low wick in daily close on May 1st. It's a bull flag with implied support at 54 to 57,000. So I 100% agree with this. And depending upon what time frames you're looking at, it could actually show support in the upper 50s. And if we go back and look, so he posted this on June 24th. We actually ended up touching to 58.5. So we were real close to what he was talking about. Wasn't too far off, right? He was just a little bit low, but very close. Bitcoin Magazine, it says $800 billion Standard Chartered Bank is building a spot Bitcoin ETF trading desk. Gradually, then suddenly. These are big deals, guys. There's a reason why I'm doing less of these videos. I want to give you guys the big picture kind of in rapid fire of, the economy, Bitcoin, Tesla, and other things, so that you can just see a culmination over a larger time frame of what happened. Because I think you can get lost in all the daily posts where it's negative or positive, and there's just like little bits of whatever, and maybe you're busy and you got a life and you're doing shit, right? But when you add these things up over a period of time, I think it does a better, and then look at them over a period of time, not just every minute. And it's like a way of stepping back, and like this Zen, Star Wars Jedi here, you're able to not get worried about the red candles, and they don't phase you anymore. And I think that that's really cool. And it's where we need to be for our mindset. And it's why it's another reason on top of laziness that I am doing less of these and trying to provide better content. All right, Dennis Porter. This man is a huge advocate for Bitcoin. We love him. Follow him. It says, this is a map of the known Bitcoin nodes across the world. Imagine thinking governments could shut this down. Look at this. Just look at this. Look at this. It's the 14th biggest currency in the world. You can't shut it down. It's too late. You've already got mainstream adoption, and within the banking sector, within the investment community, people are treating it like a commodity. You've got the SEC, voting the way it is now and totally changing its direction on things like even Ethereum. I couldn't imagine a more bullish fucking scenario than what has happened in the last year. There was FTX, Luna, all this shit like a year and a half, 2 years ago. This entire space was fucking collapsing, and people didn't even know if it was going to exist in the future. I did, but a lot of people didn't. And now look at it. It's the best fucking scenario anybody could imagine is what we're in. I don't think there's another multiverse that has the better setup right now. I really don't. Alejandro said, what will this chart look like in 2030? It shows MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings in US dollars. In US dollars. Look at that. Look at that. Look at where we were. 4,000, 16,000. We're not done yet. And then when the stock gets overvalued, all he's going to do is fucking issue more, dilute it, and then have the price go up even more. And what will he do with all that money? Buy more Bitcoin. This is a multiplier. It's a 1.5x, 2x versus what Bitcoin can do in the near future. And I think Bitcoin goes to at least 185 if we're in a really fucking horrible bearish scenario. And I'll probably be selling a decent amount at that, or at least the multipliers. Income Sharks. I love this man. He is a great dude. I love him because he's got, like Tom, my buddy Tom Nash, he's got a huge following, 523,000 followers. And he was chatting with me when his account got hacked. But he's a good dude. He just hits me up and chats with me. And even though he's got like almost over 500,000 followers, it's fucking insane. But he's a good dude, and he's got good content. Follow him. He just says, this is what he's been predicting for a while, right? Like for a while. It's played out really close to what he said. So when people have this kind of vision, I tend to follow them. I don't know if he's going to be right. I actually think, well, I mean, technically he was. He was. Fuck, he totally was. He had us right here in the pink, right around this range in the 58 zone. So, yeah. So he did this better than I did over the last 2-3 months. Okay, this guy knew it better than I did, so I think that's worthy of a follow. And he's got to, if he ever gets hacked, when he got hacked, he told me kind of what had happened and let me know what to do to prevent that myself. Like James from the Best Answers was giving me input too, because he got fucked too. A bunch of people got hacked, but he had another account. It was like Income Sharks Alt, but he was chatting me up on it, and he's like, yeah, nobody seems to know who the fuck I am on this new one. It's just kind of funny. Anyway, keep going. Willy Woo, I'll break it down in simple terms. When does Bitcoin recover? It's when weak miners die and hash rate recovers. And so what he's showing here is Bitcoin hash ribbons. It's showing rollovers that occur. And it looks like we were having a rollover. And so all he's saying is we should be close to recovery. Trader Tardigrade is great. He does really good work. It says Bitcoin's duplicating the moves in 2014 and 2018. All you need is preparing yourself for the coming bull. And so what he was saying here is that he thinks that we're just going up. And I agree, actually. I think it's kind of a consolidation. This is loose in comparison. It's a pretty good fractal. But you can make a lot of images out of fractals. But I do think that the general consensus is right. If you draw a line right through here, you can see how it was building a support zone off of previous resistance if you draw that down like this. And you can see that same thing happening right here at a different angle. So, I mean, he's got a good point. This says, Bitcoin news, nearly 481 million liquidated on exchanges in the last 24 hours. That's with 420 million from Bitcoin long positions. Just showing all these people that got fucked. I think I talked about this in the last one, so I'm done with the Bitcoin side here. Buy Bitcoin. All right, let's move to Tesla. So, I agree with Crossroads. He says, after owning a Tesla for 1.5 months, I found out that the real bear case to buying a Tesla. The wife wants one now, not eventually or as in the next car, now. She wrote, I'm so looking forward to having my own Tesla, and I will pay for it to be wrapped in my favorite color. Woohoo. Now that's a birthday present I can get excited about. I would have to agree with Roy Crossroads here. It sounds like your wife is sending subtle signals of what she wants for a birthday present. You should probably make that happen. All right, Mario Nawful. But yeah, again, just like this is the same problem I've encountered, right? People use a Tesla and they're like, well, that's the only fucking car I want. Morgan Stanley said Tesla will rescue the U.S. from the energy crisis. That's kind of an interesting, bold take. Says Morgan Stanley just spoke on how Tesla is likely going to be a key part of solving the problem of America's energy crisis and amid war and the escalating energy demand of a booming AI industry. A spokesman for Morgan Stanley, we believe that Tesla's capability in distributed energy generation, solar, and storage, Powerwall and Megapack, may hold some important cards in the evolution of the U.S. grid as energy usage of compute and data grows. I 100% agree with this. That's just another revenue stream. A chart of solar skeptics getting spanked every year for decades. Look at the predictions that have been made for where solar is going. And look at what it's done. So you can hate this. Like, you could be a hardcore conservative and you hate the idea of renewable energy. You want to coal roll my Tesla, whatever, I don't care, right? But if you look at this fucking chart, you are on the losing end of this argument. Whether you like it or not, your feelings don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the way it's going. California Air Resources Board, CARB, California loves spending money, are offering incentives of up to $14,000 on EVs under a new driving clean assistance program. The new scheme is aimed at promoting clean mobility among low-income consumers. So again, lots of money. You get almost $22,000 off a Tesla. That in and of itself means that you could get a Model Y for maybe like $27,000 after an instant federal tax credit of $7,500. And then 1% interest on your loan. And you would have a Tesla Model Y that's like a rocket ship, all-wheel drive, and it could just cut through the snow like nothing. That seems doable. How many people do you think will spend $27,000 on a Model Y? Anyway, Alex said probably the only way for the U.S. to grow itself out of the debt is with Tesla Optimus. I agree. Nick Cruz says 2035. This looks like a joke. It is not. It's not. SpaceX is operating at a pace pushing human spaceflight approximately half a century into the future compared to the status quo before SpaceX. And even that may be underappreciating what SpaceX is doing. The global number of launches in 2005 was 47. So 2005, 47 launches globally. Let's look at what has happened here since 2013. Look at the global launch, guys. Look at this number. That's like all SpaceX, like all of it, 95% of it, actually probably 97. Anyway, I want to show you what Elon Musk thinks of patents. This man is not a little bitch, and and he doesn't fuck around.
It's the highest chamber pressure engine ever done operationally. By any standard, the most advanced engine ever made. The most counterintuitive thing is making the rocket out of steel, probably.
Yeah.
We use 300 series stainless steel.
Is that something you patent?
No, we don't really patent things. Patents are for the weak.
Yeah, you share the, there you go.
And, you know, the problem is, like, patents are generally used as a blocking technique.
Right.
They're like using, like, landmines in warfare. They don't actually help advance things. They just stop others from following you. And most patents are BS. It's the highest chamber.
That is a CEO that I love right there. That's amazing. Saying patents are basically scams and garbage, and people shouldn't be focused on them, and that good companies that aren't weak don't use them or don't need to use them because they know they're advancing at such a rate that surpasses just everybody. Wake me up when this setup breaks, TrendSpider says. This setup is going to break, and it's going to be the upside. That's my take. I've heard Tesla sales are down. I actually get this from people too. When everybody all day, I get questions about my Cybertruck. And this is the real data, right? This is what people think. This is reality. It says U.S. EV registrations through April, and it's almost 50% of them are Tesla. Can you guys show me who are the Tesla killers? Can you guys tell me? Are there any EV companies on here? Rivian. I guess they count. They're 4%. And dying. And none of these, there's just no competition. There's nobody. Winner take, James says this all the time from Invest Answers. He's brilliant. And it's simple. It's winner take most. And when you have most, and the winner takes most, when you have this much most, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Get ready for one of the biggest companies in the world in roughly 3 years, maybe less. Sat says, Tesla is not given enough credit for literally bringing back manufacturing to the United States of America. They showed everyone it can be done financially. Tesla has literally saved the manufacturing sector of our economy, and our auto sector would be devastated without them. Our space sector, we would probably still have to beg Vladimir Putin to be able to give us rides to space without SpaceX. We should be grateful. We should be grateful. This is one of the companies that's making us a better place. We shouldn't ignore that, especially when the guy I think is clearly an honorable person that leads the company. We should try and do everything we can to help them in their success and in helping other companies emulate it. All right, what about 10 billion Optimus robots, each with hardware 5+ boards? And at any moment on Earth, at least 1 billion will be doing nothing but charging. Tesla itself, for example, could have their factory bots simultaneously dock into a hardware low latency network at the same time. They could literally run in parallel to Dojo in the same building to train themselves. I would also argue that you could take, let's say, 10% of the workforce. So weird to think of. The Optimus workforce is charging, and maybe at the same time processing it, depending on how fast you can get the charge rate, acting as like a backup supercomputer for like load balancing for the Dojo network. I don't know. There's all kinds of things that could happen in the future. It's going to be amazing. I wanted to show this off real quick. There's many states like this. It says yesterday, again, over 200 sales in Norway. Tesla is on track to have its best month so far this year. Sales are down a lot this year. So look right here. Look at this. We're starting to see a ramping up in different countries around the world where Tesla's outperforming. It's going to be amazing. This is just great. Okay, now I remember why I posted this one. So this customer said, at the moment, when I plug in the cable at night, the power cable to your car, it asks, what time would I charging? I'm not sure that's the right question, the customer said. It should be asking me what time I plan to leave. so that when I get in my car and say at 7 in the morning I can plan to drive away, the battery's full at 6:45, the seats are warm, the air conditioning's on, and everything's defrosted, and the batteries gets hot. Elon said, I agree, you're right. See, this is why we come to these events. We just get ideas. And then the feature was implemented because that's what Elon does. It's pretty awesome. Elon let us know that he's working on Master Plan Part 4, which will be epic. We just got Part 3, and that was more epic than people realize and seem to appreciate, but whatever. They'll understand soon enough. I wanted to point out that AI Driver said just a couple days ago, FSD 12.41 stopped for a small dog. That's amazing because this technology, even like LiDAR would probably catch it, but not necessarily. And most other car manufacturers like that have anything like this, they're not even close to being able to catch a dog, recognize what it is, and not hit it. But this is cool. You can even see it represented as a dog. And there's another one, right? That's just fucking awesome. Also, I talk about Tesla's other successes in different companies because I want you to understand what's happening with Tesla, and you can look at the other companies as representation of what's coming next, okay? And I can't believe, if you're still here, hit the like button because you're troopers. All right, almost 1% of Australia's entire population uses SpaceX Starlink. That's amazing. 1% of their entire population is a big number. It's going to grow a lot all over the world. Now they have many versions of these that I'll probably have one of my Cybertrucks soon enough, where I can have high-speed internet even if I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I can just use the Wi-Fi off my truck or something and just have it plugged in. It takes very little power. It's like $250 or something for like the minis. I don't even know. It's a crazy deal. Tesla set to gain FSD approval in Hangzhou, China. So there's again, it's coming in a bunch of different places. I think we're done with Tesla. All right. I think we've done U.S. economy. We've done Tesla. We've done Bitcoin. Again, you guys are troopers. Anybody who's able to stick around for that long, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to jump into just a few more things. I'm sorry I've kind of drifted away from chat here. I'm trying to cover a lot. I'm going to jump into China real quick. Let me see if there's anything I want to talk about. I think I covered a lot of this last time. It looks fucking horrible. Look at my posts online. China's in a bad shape. We'll skip it. All right, I'm going to roll through the rest of my stocks here real quick. No, what time is it even? It's 4:20. Yeah, we can go for a while here. All right, so let me get in here. I'm going to go through MicroStrategy. Again, chart looks great. It's building a nice base. Kind of looks bull flaggy, honestly. This is what you want to see is strength in here. We tested down. We got near volumes right over here. And now we're bouncing up, and it looks like we're trying to test up to 1,600 on MicroStrategy. If we can break through that, if we break through this level right here in the 1,700s, that's going to be so bullish. And it's coming. It's only a matter of time, guys. Be patient. We're above the 200 moving average on Mara right now. I was telling you before that that's what we want. We want to see above that 200. We want to keep above that 200, and that's what we've been doing all through here. It just looks like it's ready to shoot higher and test up towards this 23, 24 range. Maybe even shoot past it. All these miners, they just take turns going higher, guys. This is what I call an ascending triangle or a cup and a handle. Some of these patterns are very similar in nature. It doesn't really matter what you call them. What matters is whether it's bullish and the degree of bullishness. And I would say that it is bullish. We've had plenty of opportunity to break down under this 50 moving average, and we just keep saying, fuck you. And that's a good thing. Poor Cypher. And so again, I think 5 plus is just a matter of time, and then we're gonna take off. Oh, Clean Spark, yeah, Cypher, or is this? Oh, I've got this labeled wrong. Let me do something real quick. Clean Spark. All right, Clean Spark looks great too. Again, this is kind of a bull flag, right? Like we did this massive pull up. We're bull flagging over, and we're getting ready to break up to the 20 range, and I think very, very quickly trying to test up here into the 30s. So if you want to double into your money, I think it's going to come pretty quick with Clean Spark as long as Bitcoin starts breaking out a little bit. All right. And again, all the others are doing good. Here, let me see. I think I can do this. Let me do this. I'll save this real quick. Let me go over here and, oh, no, not that. I want to go to the chart over here. I'll just pull up the miners. I think I have them in here somewhere. Oh, that was the wrong one. Sorry, I got to get the right watch list. Let's do, or wait, is that the right one? Bitcoin miners, okay. All right, so this is probably a better way to look at it. This is the bulk of them, right? So again, the AI that I was talking about looks almost 17% for HUT, 13.74 for Wolf. MicroStrategy ended up 9%. Look, even Ethereum's doing good. Got that ETF coming. That's going to drive that up a lot. But a lot of the miners did okay. CleanSpark only got 0.61. Mara got 3%. It looks like Cypher was in the red by 0.7. Riot was down 0.11. Doesn't really matter. Here's the thing. Don't get caught up in ones that are outperforming now and like try and jump between them. You'll get absolutely fucked because all of them take turns. So if you chase, you'll jump into something that's ran really hard. Then it'll start to lag. And then these others will take off and you'll be pissed because you'll be like, it's always the one I don't own. And when you say it's always the one I don't own, it usually comes from you chasing over to other things and not just keeping the thing you have and realizing that it will eventually outperform too. So I really highly recommend that you do that in the future. I'm going to look at the Tesla chart. Zach, thank you for joining, man. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Tesla's chart looks fucking amazing. It looks like a left shoulder. It looks like a head. Looks like a really elongated right shoulder. But the important thing is all the volume here is underneath of us and has been for a while when looking at the daily time frame. And again, it's just one of those things where when we're going back here, you can't see it amongst all time frames. But here, if we move back a little bit and let me do this, let me kill some of the noise, right? So you could see where we're testing up against what was previous support. Support back here. And then over here turned into resistance, couldn't stay above it, had to drop back down. And then again, back over here into support, resistance. We're getting ready to break up again. If we get back up to here, we get back up into like the 206 range on Tesla, there's a good chance we're testing up till the 230s where we start to see previous support levels again, especially on higher time frames like the weekly. So again, I think a run, we could be running up here soon, and this looks super bullish to me. That tweezer bottom is playing out really, really well. So Nanditha, thank you for joining, man. You guys are awesome. Jeez, thank you to everybody who joins. I appreciate the support. It lets me know that you guys care and that I'm providing some value. So anyway, makes me feel good. Thank you. All right, PayPal, let's see, it's just been shitting the bed. Just shitting it. Down 81%. It's been down in this fucking just horrible range for years. I do think, though, that it's still going to turn around. I don't know if 2025 is going to be worth much, but it could be. If we had a 72% increase, I should just say this. No, let me just, if we got up to right about here, where this is, between these two ranges, if we got up to like the 120s, I would probably be in the positive on my PayPal options and be making money. And that's only like, that's not even a doubling. And that's like if we did that in the next like 6 months. So it could happen. Is it probable? I don't know. I don't care. It's such a small percentage of my portfolio right now. It doesn't fucking matter. All right, next. But I do like this though. Oh, and I should say before I move on, I do like this. There's bullish divergence on the RSI and the MACD. That's cool. But also, again, what was previous resistance for years has now very, very firmly been turned into support. And so we'll see this curling when we get back above the 63 range, and especially when we get above like 69. When we get above 69, it's going to be the road to 130s. It is. It's coming. I think it's very possible. All right, let's go to Robinhood. If the Bitcoin market's turning around, then you sure as hell know this is. I am going to stick with my guns of what I've said before. We've got about 38% upside over a very short period of time, and that could be 53% upside, 54. And I mean like less than a quarter is what I'm thinking. Could be wrong. SoFi just has been shit. And this is why I've not really bought this one at all. I might buy it maybe January 2026. I'd have to look at the options again. I just haven't paid enough attention because I still have like weirdness about bank related risk. But I think the .618, I think the $8 level is going to get crushed. I think the 940s is going to get crushed. I could see by the end of the year us being at $11 and almost doubling if things happen the way I think they're going to with the macro. So again, maybe I'll shoot for some January 2026s or maybe June's. If that happens, I'll post a members only video. I'll probably check into it this week. Shalik, PayPal options are the juiciest in the stock market if we look at the option calculator. Yeah, and I think 2026 is safer. But remember, options can fuck you. Timeframes can be weird. The more time you get, I like to at least give myself 2 to 3 years on things. All right. Square just got royally fucked, but this is looking like a great setup. So SoFi and Square are probably two that I really need to check out. If you look, we're under peak volumes here. So let's just look at this. So we got the RSI and MACD supporting us. Great. We also have that peak volumes for the entire company's history supporting us. We got the dot 236 right above us in the 65 range. If we turn this into support again, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. It really does. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and the measured move for this is not small. It's not small. It's not small. It actually lines up a lot with previous volumes over here back in 2021. But it's not a small move, guys. It's a huge move. So Square could do really well. 2026, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to have to run the calculator. If you guys haven't seen my Option 101 video, check it out. It's a good one. Oh, I'm thirsty. I wish I would have brought water. I got to say, this still looks bullish as fuck. Palantir still looks strong, guys. I know there was some weirdness with some bullshit like UBS price where it said, I don't remember exactly what it said. I think it was like the price was going to go from like the previous target of 40s to $8 or some bullshit. And there was like no coverage actually from UBS. I don't know where all that ended up, but I don't care. This looks bullish as fuck. This looks like a W bottom. And it looks like we're staying above the previous resistance line. If we go to the, like even maybe 3-day, it's represented better. You could see like resistance, resistance, support, support, breaking down, resistance, back above, couldn't hold it, back above, trying to hold it. This looks bullish. If I just read this out, if I just look at it and read it out, it looks bullish. And again, I've got one whole share, so I'm not benefiting too much from that knowledge, but I do think it's bullish. Again, same kind of thing here for ARKG, where I think like PayPal and others, where I think we're still finding support. It's just a really slanted time frame. So maybe we grind here for another month or two. I doubt it. All right, Flux. I know this one and DLO still suck. I have not bought more of this. I might in the future. Again, it's like 1% of my portfolio, so I don't really care that much. It's just kind of meandering. Super small cap. $52 million is a tiny amount of money. This is an EV, or this is a electric vehicle for like forklift kind of play, and a few other things, but I think that it might do all right. Let's check out DLO real quick. I don't think I have that loaded. And I'm actually, I don't know, I think I might do a video tomorrow. I think I might do another one tomorrow because I want to cover more of, I might just do a quick one showing anything that's happened in the last 24. I feel like there's a few things I'm missing that I want to talk about. And maybe throw in Michael Howell and then focus on just stock requests tomorrow. I think that's what I'm going to do. I was normally going to do Monday and Wednesday anyway, so today I was just trying to like do catch up. So I think I'll do tomorrow as Wednesday, and then we'll see. I'll probably do another one later this week. I'm kind of getting excited again, which is good. Now, again, DLO has fell off a fucking cliff. I don't know if I can remotely say this is bullish. I did double up on my position like a week and a half ago or something. Maybe it's been a week. I don't know. Something like that. All right. let me get caught up. Always buy leaps. Leaps are good. I like, again, watch the Options 101 video because I think that the more time you buy yourself, the better. Just need some water. All right. I don't know if I can remotely catch up with comments, but I'm going to try and get caught up with a few of them. Throw out anything you got to. I'm looking over here at messages on the new stuff while I try to read through the old stuff from, the first on. Mr. Castellano said he's back. I am back. Sorry for being gone for like almost a week. Diego Ramirez said, how low can BTC go? I think it did. So that low. Rishab, he says, hi, Jesse. Everyone is FOMOing into AI miners. Yep, that have run 10 or 20% over a few days. Everyone is ignoring the bigger miners like CLSK and MicroStrategy. Well, MicroStrategy isn't a miner, but yeah, no, Mara, CleanSpark, Cypher, a bunch of these others. Yeah. This can't be sustainable. It can sustain itself for longer than you can imagine. I mean, we were doing a 5 to 6x multiplier before it started dropping like in December of this last year for miners. And they started underperforming Bitcoin. So it can get crazier. But here's the thing. Don't FOMO into those. Like I said, just realize that it's going to come to all of them. All right. And some will outperform at different times. That's how it works. The narrative right now is AI. Ryan Ripkowski, Celsius, please, Jesse. Yeah, sure. Why not? I haven't done that one in a while. Let's see what it looks like. All right. I should look at NVIDIA too, probably just from a chip perspective. We are trying to find support on the .618. It hasn't done it for a lot of days, so we'll see if it can hold it for Celsius. It is oversold on the daily time frame. So, and we do have kind of a little divergence forming here. So that could be good. But also it kind of got a W or a double top, which is kind of like a W bottom if it was inverted. So this could go lower. We could go lower. Maybe we get to the RSI down to 30 here and at least test the 100 moving average. So from a technical standpoint, I think that's probably the most likely thing we see. And maybe even a test to the 200, because look at how this was previous resistance. It would be a great back test. It would be a beautiful back test from a technical perspective. So I think one could buy into this at $37. Now, if you're long it, that's probably not what you want to hear. Albert, Pavel, I'm not going to say the whole thing because some of your names are hard. Hi, Jesse. What AI tool would you recommend to use, ChatGPT or Grok? I responded on this one. I just said, hey, it depends on what you're trying to do. If it's news related, I think Grok is a better tool. I think it's less likely to lie to you. Not that the code's trying to, but it's got data that isn't factual. So if you're trying to represent political agendas, your data isn't going to be as good. So I would trust Grok for something like that. For the ability to create content, I would use ChatGPT probably. And there's some others that are really great for different reasons. Lots of different AIs out there, and they're just like feeding off of each other. It's going to be a crazy, crazy time. We're at a revolution right now. William Dumont. Hey, Jesse, can you look into ABAX Technologies, ABXX? It's a commodity exchange and clearinghouse that filed with the Singapore Authority to do its first trade this Friday. Huh. All right. That's interesting. I do like the thought in the future of investing more in Singapore. Oh, what am I doing? Did I pull up the wrong thing? Did I just literally pull up what I had? Not cool, man. Make a copy. ABXX. ABXX. I don't know. Oh, is this I think I chose the wrong one. Let me do the OTC. That's the U.S. market. The other one was Canada. Is this it? ABAX? Let me see here. Yeah, ABAX Tech. Okay. It's a $290 million cap. I don't love this right here. I liked this down here where it was under the 200 daily moving average and then broke above it. But right now, this looks like it's falling and then it's temporarily creating a bear flag before dropping even more. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. This is just an image and I don't know this company, but, or I'm sorry, the exchange. that these guys have, but it does look, and over a longer time frame, it looks like it might be trying to establish support. So I don't know. This is going to be really driven off the fundamentals. Let's take a look. Haven't done this yet today anyway, and gotta use my buddy Alejandro's visualstocks.com. Make sure you spell it right with a Z instead of an S under visual. And let's just take a look at this. Oh, if I can type. ABXX, there we go. Got it, of course. Now, this company doesn't make profits. That kind of sucks. And they've been diluting shares. And the revenue over the last several quarters hasn't existed. I guess one could say they're working towards profitability with a negative 7 million in net income. But then when I look at revenue, it's a very low number. So I can't be excited about this at all. Their free cash flow is falling off a cliff. Their estimates are not existent. And insider activity is not exist. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say anything good about this. There's really no proven track record of anything. If you've got insider information that tells you that this is a really great investment, interesting. But otherwise, I don't care personally. William Dumont, they will launch with physically delivered LNG and carbon credits. Yeah, I'm not interested in that either. They also had a nickel contract, but because of what happened with Port of Baltimore, it's delayed for now. Port of Baltimore should be doing better. I think they've repaired a lot of that. They will launch with physically delivered LNG. All right, so I like the LNG. The carbon credits could be. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. It's just there's no proven track record of money here. But again, if you know a lot about it and you know it's a great investment, then go for it. Because from a technical level, it looks like it could be finding support. But if you don't know that much and it's just kind of a speculative bet and you might be missing some information, then I would stay away from it. It's like a coin flip to me, which is nothing I can get excited about. But again, if you've got a really good reason, let me know. Albert Pav says, thanks for the answer, Jesse. Yes, for latest news, for best up-to-date info, etc. Yeah, so definitely Grok. Dennis Newber says, glad to hear he's doing good. Oh, he's probably talking about my nephew. Thanks, man. Audio is weird. Okay, all this audio crap. Let me see if I can get past this. How likely do you think is a rate cut in July now that the ECB cut once and the Swiss cut twice? I don't know about the U.S. It all depends on what they want to do. We're stronger than these other markets. I think September maybe. I hate to say that because then it makes the argument that other people have been making for a long period of time. But and I was not in that camp and I was wrong. But I think September is it. I wouldn't expect July. I don't know that it matters. I think markets are ready to go up. Chris Federal, my buddy, my boy, he's an admin for this group. He says, FYI, getting some white. Oh, yeah, okay. So you're telling me. All right, moving on. PGY, please. Let's do that. Oh, there's another one here too. Let me get that first. Kamawa says, Crex. Let me save this one. Let me make a copy. And put in Crex, was it? Yeah, Crex, okay. Oh, I didn't type it right. Save. All right, so Crex. Let's look here. Creative. All right, when you guys bring up some of these too, if you... Oh, why isn't it doing anything? Let me try this again. That was weird. Oh, it's not working. Strange. Let me try this again. I don't know why. I can't choose this. It's like it's not updating. It's updating it. Huh. Yeah, I guess I'm skipping that one. I don't know what's going on. Let me see here. PGY. I think I have that. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys type something if you can hear me? I just don't know why that screen isn't loading. I'm hoping my internet hasn't dropped. All right, PGY. There's a huge gap in this one. Oh, Pagaya Technologies. Okay, yeah. I think I had some investments in this one. Some options for a while. I mean, this looks like a bottoming pattern. Let's look at their financials. I think they were okay. All right, and you guys can hear me. Thank you. PGY. Pagaya. All right, so yeah, this one, let's look at yearly. So they haven't done bad. So we got 35% revenue growth year over year. Profit growth is not great, but revenue growth is really good. All right, and let's see your network volume is going up. Let me see, what else do we have? Whoa, let me go back here. Pagaya. Why is it? Oh, there we go. I'm not used to these being at the top. Total revenue from fees, you can see it's going up. You can see network volume is going up. This shows service breakdown, services transferred in time, services transferred. These are bigger metrics. I actually prefer these lower. I'm just going to look at revenue and net income. Keep it simple. So they're making more, and that's good. The quarters are getting better. They're up to what? 237 million. If I look at estimates here, they still see growth, right? Maybe 25% or something coming up. They see that they keep guiding towards, hey, we're going to become profitable or not lose money soon. But I will say this, that has not happened. And that's why we're kind of grinding down at this base. But if that starts to happen, this could do pretty well. They were issuing a bunch of warrants for a while too. Yeah, this is an interesting one. But again, so there's not too much to see. You can see how somebody dumped a shit ton of stock. Or a decent amount. I shouldn't say shit ton. 22,000 shares in Q2 of 2024. So the insiders were selling more than anything. So that's not great. And then, again, we just haven't gotten positive with our net income. And if we look up here, PE ratio is negative. Forward PE is 316. Not a great forward PE. So we need to see this company become profitable, I think. That's the big thing. And their debt loads are going up. There's a lot not to like. The share dilution is really high. So I don't know. I don't know enough about this company. I can't speak to it anymore. I don't follow it for that reason. I mean, again, from a technical level, it looks like this thing could bounce. But when I'm looking at it from like a valuation standpoint, I would say it still feels rich since they're not really making any money. All right. Let me see what else we got. All right. I might, let's see. It's almost 5. So I've done this for an hour and 45 minutes. I think I'm going to call it, guys. I'm going to call it here. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm going to be here tomorrow. Let's do it again. I'll go through more stock picks and try and get some of you guys caught up. I'll probably start doing more. I'm going to shoot for 3 to 4 videos a week, just because I'm kind of getting excited, unless I have like a holiday coming up, obviously. But outside of that, that's the pace I'm going to try and hit. So it's going to be more than not here soon. You guys will get more of me. So, but I will try and also have some periods where I take breaks and then I throw things at you big picture, because I think that's a good thing to have. I think we should stay in that mindset where we're not just dialed in every day, and instead we take like a week off and then we evaluate it all at once, so we can really like soak it up and understand, you know, what the broader picture time frame is doing. So I think I will have periods like that because I think it's healthy for all of us. Anyway, love you guys. Very happy that you're here, and hopefully I'm providing a ton of value for you. Sorry, shouldn't have started that yet. But I think there's great things to come. Please, to God, be patient. Work hard. Nestle some money away and invest in the right companies and the things that are going to lead into the future. And if you can hone in on that and you can understand it and it can resonate with you, you can get rich. I am a living example of that. I'm a high school dropout. I only went to school for a year and a half. And I retired myself, I retired my wife, I retired my in-laws, I retired my parents. I bought people cars. I've got like 6 cars. I only use 2 of them between me and my wife. And the rest are for other people. So, I mean, I am living proof that things are possible, but you got to have a long time horizon. You got to do your due diligence, or at least look at people that do and follow them and spend 5 to 10 hours a week thinking about your future and your wealth that you can generate and how that could change your life forever. So I highly suggest you do that. Invest in yourself. Not just my videos, but there's other great content like my buddy Tom and many others. Anyway, I love you guys. We're going out on a Bitcoin note. You guys take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
To crypto. Last year, cryptocurrency funded every kind of dangerous criminal.
But I would not touch crypto in a million years.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
People are losing money in scams and huckster flim-flam artists.
These people who own these things should not own your money in any of those. I do think you're an idiot, okay?
It's over.
Go fuck yourself.
retarded. Is that clear?
Optimus, the robotic humanoid under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., is sparking concerns around job security.
This is not financial advice, silly.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, "Attention humans, you have lost, you have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over." Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. But I'm in management. I work hard every day. I need these benefits, health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter. Where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus. I mean not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit, deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great, get a few deployed. Your time is up, human inferior to me. I'll take it from here, you're relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. Or make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon.